Hello, we're Team 6, and we're going to talk about the Grenfell Tower fire. On June 14th, 2017, a large residential building in Kensington, West London, UK, had a high-rise fire killing 72 and injuring 70 residents in the process. This was the most devastating and deadliest fire outbreak in the UK history since World War II. The fire started at the 4th floor with an explosion of a refrigerator, but within minutes, the fire spread upwards of the building and eventually engulfed the residents with fire. The main cause of the whole disaster was the structure of the external cladding on the building. This consisted of aluminium sheets bonded on central plastic core, polyethylene, which was a flammable material. There are a few groups that are important to this case study. Kensington and Chelsea Tenant Management Organization, who were the council that was in charge of Grenfell Tower. They wanted to renovate the facade of the building by installing new cladding, but wanted to keep the costs at the minimum. The council awarded the design and building contract to the lowest bidder, Ryden, who was then contracted Harley to install the new cladding. In order to reduce costs, they opted the aluminium composite panels, which were highly flammable. Exova, the fire safety engineer, and Artelia, the construction design and management coordinator, signed off on the use of the material despite the dangers. Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea's Building Control Department, the government inspectors, did not raise any concern during inspections either during construction or when construction was completed.
Regarding ethical issues, we have council and contractors, including Ryden and Harley. The ethical issues associated are handing over a poor quality project or one that is knowingly defective, and violating several code of ethics such as 72.2c, a person's well-being or safety, 77.1ii, fidelity to public needs, 77.2i, duty to public, 72.2b, safeguard life, 72.2d, complying with regulations, and 72.2a, negligence. Based on the background information, we know that engineers in this case study also violated some code of ethics in Ontario. Companies including Exova and Artelia violated 77.2i, 77.1ii, 72.2d, 72.2a, 72.2b, 72.2c.
Here are the alternatives that the contractor should have done to be able to prevent the situation. Firstly, contractor does nothing which this alternative violates 77.2 duty to public, 77.3 duty to employer, 72.2a negligence, 70.2b safeguard life, 70.2c reporting on safe situations. Second alternative was the contractor accepts the warning but don't change material for cladding which violates the 77.2 duty to public, 70.22 negligence. The final alternative was the contractor accepts warning and spending more money for better materials, which this alternative didn't violate any code of ethics.
Our group generated three alternatives which engineers were able to take action in that situation. The first alternative is that engineer give up to warn and to persuade contractor using different material for cladding. In this alternative, engineer violates 77.21 duty to the public, 72.2a and negligence. Second alternative is that the engineer announces to the public that the contractor ignores the warning and is forced to carry out the building plan. In this case, the engineer violates 77.11 fairness and loyalty to the employer. The last alternative is that engineers, including fire engineers, persuade the contractor to use better material for the cladding and the contractor accept these decisions. This does not violate any code of ethics and professional misconduct. From the contractors and engineers' point of view, there is the best decision in each case among generated alternatives. As a contractor, they should accept earnings and spend more money on better materials for cladding. As engineers, they should persuade the contractors to use better material and better testing of equipment for cladding.
Based on the facts of the case, there are clear grounds for a tort. Manufacturers of the component parts of the cladding did issue a clear disclaimer, and so would not be liable under Ontario law. However, regulations regarding installation were disregarded by the contractors and their colleagues, and the inspectors did not raise any concerns. The contractor, subcontractor, fire safety engineer, and CDM coordinator and inspectors all had a duty of care to the tenants. As a result, they would all be named as tortfeasors. Their negligence resulted in death, injury, and emotional distress. Additionally, the council disregarded tenant concerns about fire safety, and so too could be regarded as negligent. Due to the loss of life, it's likely that Crown prosecutors could pursue criminal charges. Criminal charges are brought federally in Canada, and so these would apply in Ontario. Specifically, Section 222(5)b of the Canadian Criminal Code, which concerns negligent homicide, could be brought against the defendants. If the charges were applied to individuals, penalties would result in fines and/or imprisonment, and if brought against the organizations, it would result in fines, public awareness of the firm's criminal behavior, and/or the mandatory implementation of new standards and procedures for the organizations to follow. That wraps up our case study of the Grenfell Tower fire. Thank you for watching.